Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are having an amazing day. I wanted to talk about the books that I read last week. I had fully intended to have another reading vlog come out, but unfortunately I was not able to read all the books and it is still a work in progress, so I wanted to talk about the books that I read outside of that video. So the first book that I want to talk about is Finley, Donovan is Killing It. I am sure you've heard of this book at this point. It is making its rounds. It is kind of an absurdist mystery about this woman named Finley who is an author and she's a single mom and she just has kind of a lot going on. Her ex-husband's trying to take custody of her kids and everything just seems to be falling apart for her. And she has a meeting with a publicist or something like that at a Panera Bread, and they are talking about the book that she's writing, and she's writing a murder mystery, and the person next to her thinks that she is a hit woman for hire, and she leaves her a note with some information, and the mystery kind of goes from there, and it is completely unhinged in the best possible way. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. It is super fun. Finley Donovan is just very dumb. It's full of conveniences, and the characters make all of the worst mistakes, and you're screaming at them the entire time to just get smarter, and they don't, but it is still a fantastic time that I really enjoyed. And if this doesn't sound like it's your thing, which I didn't really think it was my thing, I definitely recommend you trying it out. I'm very excited to get to the sequel, and I really enjoyed it. So then I read Hunting Adaline, which is a dark romance. It is about a woman who moves into her grandmother's old house where she kind of was raised, with the intention of remodeling it and living there. She is also an author, and she feels like she is being watched all the time, that she has a stalker. She also has discovered a diary of her great-great-grandmother's where she also had a stalker, and so this big mystery goes on while she has this stalking storyline also. I ended up giving this 3 stars. If you are interested in my full in-depth thoughts, I did read this for the Dark Maidens book club that I host with Letitia, and so you can kind of watch that to get my more cohesive thoughts, I guess. But I really didn't like this a whole lot. I felt like I really enjoyed the couple and I enjoyed their romance, but I think that it was just too long and the plot was too messy and convoluted, and I think it was dark for the sake of being dark without actually making any sense or furthering the romance in any way. It just felt very overly long and not cohesive. Then I read Unhinged. This is a psychopath romance, and this is about a guy who was taken in when he was a kid by this man who has the intention of raising this family of like psychopathic kids to hunt down bad people and kill bad people. Kind of like a vigilante group of psychopaths. And in the beginning of the book, the psychopath hero has a run-in with the other hero, Noah, and Noah actually knows that Adam, who's a psychopath hero, murdered his father because he saw it and he found his father's body, and so he wants revenge, and he goes to Adam, and Adam's like, listen, like, your dad was not a nice guy. I recommend you just like abandon this revenge plan, or I'll show you exactly who your dad was. And so Noah kind of demands that he tell him who his dad was, and it's sort of kind of them getting revenge on the people that hurt Noah when he was younger. I ended up giving this 3 stars. I could tell that this was the author's first book. It was very flat. I didn't personally find anything really all that fun and enjoyable about this. I've mentioned previously that like one of my biggest pet peeves in books is like an early hookup, and that's kind of what we saw here. It just pops all of that tension for me, and there wasn't enough interesting things going on with the plot to really carry it. It is a short book, but it just didn't really keep my attention. It wasn't fun and riveting, and it felt really flat to me. It felt like I was reading a book, like I was reading characters on a page. So I hate to say that I don't really understand the hype, but I don't really. And then the last book that I read outside of the video that I'm currently doing is My American Duchess. This is my first Eloisa James, And this took me quite a while to read. I started reading this, according to Goodreads, on the 12th, and I just finished it yesterday. This is about a woman who has been engaged 2 times previously, and her aunt, who has taken care of her since her parents died, tells her that they need to move to England and participate in the season so that she can find a husband, and all of her like past mistakes and all of her previous engagements won't follow her to England, so that she can find like a suitable match. And we start out this book with her and the hero having an interaction on a balcony. They have kind of a witty banter, and she reveals to him that she has had failed engagements before, and he kind of keeps a secret on who he is. But going away from this interaction, he quickly decides that he intends to marry her. He's kind of known as like this duke that doesn't really like Americans, all about like societal norms and all that kind of stuff. But he's like completely taken with her. She is American. She's very brash and open, and she doesn't really try to fit into what England society demands or how they demand that she acts. And so he has every intention of marrying her, but he quickly finds out that she is currently engaged to his twin brother, Cedric. And it doesn't go very well. She really doesn't want to break off the engagement because she feels very flighty, and she feels like if she keeps doing this, like it's going to ruin her reputation, but also like her family's reputation. She doesn't want to let her aunt and uncle down, and so she has every intention of continuing with this engagement, but she quickly finds out that her fiance is not that great of a person. He might just be with her because she has a lot of money, and that she doesn't really love him like she thought she did, and that she actually thinks that her connection with his twin brother is stronger. So this is a battle of wits, if you will, a battle of wills, and they eventually end up getting together, obviously, which is the way they get together is delightful. I gave this 4 stars. Even though it took me a while to get through it, I really enjoyed it. I will say that Eloisa James' writing style is very different than most historical romance authors that I have read up to this point. So it did take me a little bit to get into the writing, but I really enjoyed this. I think their romance was very sweet, and once they're together, it's lovely. And I think Eloisa James does a good job of connecting characters well. You almost immediately understand their chemistry and why they would work well together, and she also villainizes the appropriate characters without making them too villainous. Like, you could see them being actual people, and in contrast, it makes your main characters that much better, and you're rooting for your main characters that much more. So another important thing I think is that I really understood their motivations. I understood the heroine's desire to not appear flighty and to seem mature and want to seem like she knows what she's doing, and also feeling a little hurt that everybody around her thinks that she is just this immature woman who bounces from man to man. And I liked that the hero and her had very intelligent conversations, and that he liked that she knew all of these things and could hold her own, and he actually came to respect her decisions and respect her opinion on things. So I think it was a good first Eloisa James. I'm excited to read more from her. And yeah, so those are all of the books that I read in the last week. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you comment down below what you read this week, or if you read any of the books that I read. I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Other than that, thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in my next one.
Sitting in silence, we still feel the vibe, and you could not say a word, and I know what you just decided. We'd be right in the same wave. All the water's perfect.